What is one rock and roll moment that lives in your head rent-free? For me, it's legendary guitar player Ritchie Blackmore and his chaotic late entrance to stage for Deep Purple's Come Hell or High Water show. For those that don't know, Ritchie Blackmore is the legend himself who gave us the forbidden guitar riff, now commonly referred to as the 035 riff, Smoke on the Water. But as well as being an amazing guitar player, composer, songwriter, Ritchie Blackmore is also famously difficult to work with. As other members of Deep Purple and Rainbow and basically any band that Ritchie Blackmore has been a part of, they've mentioned that the slightest little thing can set him off and lead to problems.
He can be the most simple or the most difficult man in the world. And it can depend on what to you may be the most inoffensive thing. You know, something goes wrong in his early day, or somebody says something the wrong around to him, and it can affect his whole day to the point that he goes on stage still with a problem. When he has a problem, we have a problem.
And this is very obvious to see, like I said, at the start of Deep Purple's Come Hell or High Water gig, when the band start playing Highway Star on the stage and Ritchie Blackmore is nowhere to be seen. And this Come Hell or High Water show was actually a reunion for Deep Purple's classic Mark II lineup. The lineup of Deep Purple which gave us Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, albums like Machine Head, In Rock, the classics, you know? This was their reunion after members had fallen out with each other, quit the band, started different bands. It must have been pretty exciting to see this lineup of the band back together and doing some shows, and on their first song of this particular show, the one that's being filmed, Ritchie Blackmore is nowhere to be seen. The band come on stage and start playing Highway Star. It sounds pretty good, but something's obviously missing. Even drummer Ian Pace keeps looking over to his left every so often as if to say, "Where's Ritchie?" Just as keyboardist John Lord is about to start playing his solo, Ritchie Blackmore then makes his entrance to stage. And at first you don't even see him, you just hear this guitar solo start from nowhere, and then he walks onto stage whilst playing a guitar solo, and he literally walks onto stage like he owns the place. I don't know if the band had planned to shorten the song and get rid of the keyboard solo and he play his guitar solo there, or whether he just decided, never mind the keyboard solo, it's my time, I'm going to come on and play my guitar solo. Just as he gets to the iconic part of the Highway Star guitar solo, he stops playing for a moment, grabs a cup of water and appears to throw it across the stage. And I think, judging by the next clip, he threw it at a cameraman or something like that, because we then see a shot from a different camera and the camera is covered in water. And then a little bit later in the song we see a little clip of Ritchie pointing. And I think he's pointing at that same cameraman or something. He basically looks like he's telling someone to go away. It's very hard to tell what is going on, but basically, yeah, Ritchie Blackmore just walked on stage late, interrupted the keyboard solo, started playing his guitar solo, got annoyed, threw some water across the stage at a cameraman, or at least that's how it appears. You can see it in the rest of the band's faces. They're just as shocked and they're used to dealing with him, and even they're surprised at what he did. It's kind of amusing even when he first walks on stage and starts playing his solo. The singer Ian Gillan kind of makes a gesture as if to say, "Go on then, have your moment." It's like they're doing their best to accommodate him and not antagonise him anymore. And it must have been awful for the rest of the band then having to play the rest of the show. Don't forget, this is the first song of the gig and they've got to play the rest of the show and try and look like they're having fun, try and bring some energy and a camaraderie and a band performance and everything like that. But this happened right at the start and now they're annoyed, they're angry, they're upset. There's a weird vibe on the stage and they've just got to keep playing like nothing has happened.
I was furious at what happened. It's very difficult to concentrate on your music when you're furious.
And then suddenly he's over here pushing people about and there's water being thrown. If it's possible to be angry and sad at the same time, then that's what I was.
And I've even had this experience myself. I've been in bands, I've played lots of shows and stuff like that, and I've played gigs where there's been arguments, there's been fights, there's been a weird vibe. I've played shows where I've been really annoyed for whatever reason, and it's not fun. And that's me playing shows at a smaller level. I can't imagine the pressure that band were under to try and keep it together that night.
But I had to work so bloody hard that night to keep my own energy level up and to get something happening from the other side of the stage to try and draw him into being part of a band instead of sulking away over there like some little boy, you know.
If you're standing up there and you don't feel you belong there, if you feel embarrassed by being there, your self-confidence goes out the window and all you want to do is run off that stage. You know, it's a hell of a big spotlight to be under.
But after that rocky start, the rest of the show is actually really good. Ritchie Blackmore plays amazing, and it actually looks like he's getting involved with the rest of the band. They're having a bit of onstage banter, everything like that. It's a really, really good concert. It's a shame it had to start so turbulent, but it's rock and roll. So what other rock and roll moments can you think of? Get them in the comments.